She woke up from surgery to find him holding her hand. He was crying. He said he loved her. He said he had never been more certain of anything. He said, "You saved my life. I don't know how to repay that." 6 months later, she found the divorce papers on the kitchen table. Her name is Nadia. She was 34 years old. She had given her husband one of her kidneys. And 6 months after he was well enough to file the paperwork, he did. This is what happened after that.
Nadia and her husband, Richard, had been married for 7 years when he was diagnosed with end-stage renal disease. He was 38. He had been aware of a kidney condition since his 20s, managed, monitored, never urgent. And then, in the space of 18 months, urgent. The prognosis without a transplant was not good. The waiting list for a deceased donor was long, years, potentially. His blood type complicated things further. Nadia was tested as a potential living donor within weeks of the diagnosis. She was a match. She has said in the time since that the decision was not difficult. Not because it was obvious. A person does not give away an organ without fear, but because she could not conceive of a version of herself that chose otherwise. He was her husband. He was going to die without a transplant. She was a match. She said yes. The evaluation process took 4 months. Psychological assessments, medical clearances, multiple consultations, a panel of clinicians whose job it is to confirm that the donor understands what they are giving and cannot be pressured into giving it. Nadia passed every stage. She was not pressured. She was not uncertain. She chose freely. The surgery was in April. Both operations, donor and recipient, were performed on the same day in adjacent theaters by separate surgical teams. This is standard. Nadia's surgery lasted 4 hours. Richard's lasted 6. When she woke up, he was already in recovery. He was doing well. The kidney had been accepted. The early indicators were strong. She was in hospital for 4 days. He was in for 8. The recovery at home was slower. She had been told 6 weeks for a return to normal activity. It was closer to 10. The pain was managed. The fatigue was harder. Not pain exactly, but a heaviness that sat in her body for weeks, a kind of recalibration. Richard was recovering faster than expected. The transplant team was pleased. She cooked for him during her own recovery. She drove him to his follow-up appointments. She managed the medication schedule, his and her own, which was not insignificant. She told me she remembers those months as hard but good. The hardness was physical. The goodness was something else. The particular quality of having done the most difficult thing you will ever do and knowing it was right. Richard told her repeatedly that he would spend the rest of his life being worthy of what she had done. She believed him. The divorce papers were on the kitchen table on a Tuesday morning in October, 6 months and 11 days after the surgery. Richard was not at home. He had left early that morning. She had heard him, had assumed it was work. There was no note beyond the papers themselves. She sat down. She read them. The grounds cited were irreconcilable differences. She sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Then she called her sister. Then she called a solicitor. Richard's explanation, when it came in a text message, then later a brief phone call, was that the illness had changed him. That nearly dying had made him reassess what he wanted from his life. That he had realized, during the recovery, that he and Nadia wanted different things. That he was sorry. He did not address the kidney directly, not in the text, not in the call, not at any point in the proceedings that followed. He never said, "I know what you gave me." He never said, "I know what this looks like." He said irreconcilable differences. He said the illness had changed him, and then he let the process run. The first question Nadia's solicitor asked, which was also the first question Nadia herself had asked, was whether the kidney changed her legal position in the divorce. The answer was complicated. Organ donation is irrevocable. A kidney, once transplanted, cannot be legally recovered. There is no provision in family law, in any jurisdiction Nadia's solicitor was aware of, that treats the donation of an organ as a quantifiable asset in divorce proceedings. What this means in practice is that the gift of a kidney, an act with a black market value in the hundreds of thousands, an act that carries genuine surgical risk to the donor, an act from which the recipient derives life-altering benefit, is legally invisible in the dissolution of a marriage. Nadia asked, "Is there anything I can do?" Her solicitors said, "We can argue that the timing and circumstances constitute relevant conduct when establishing the settlement. It is not guaranteed, but we can argue it." They argued it. The judge, in the financial remedy hearing, noted the circumstances of the donation in the written judgment. She noted the timeline: surgery in April, petition filed in August, papers served in October. She noted Nadia's ongoing recovery costs and the restrictions on her own insurability that come with being a living kidney donor. The settlement was not what Nadia had hoped for, but it was significantly more than Richard's initial offer. The judge's written note on the circumstances of the donation remained part of the public record. Nadia did not speak publicly about the divorce for almost a year after it was finalized. She was not silent out of shame. She was silent out of strategy. Richard worked in a professional field where reputation mattered, where clients researched the people they hired, where character was considered part of the offer. He had built a practice on the basis of personal integrity. His professional biography described him as someone who had overcome serious illness. It did not describe how. Nadia waited until the divorce was fully finalized, the financial settlement complete, and the legal record sealed from further contest. Then she told the truth. She did not send messages. She did not post accusations. She did not contact his clients or his colleagues directly. She gave a single interview to a journalist who covered family law and medical ethics, in which she described, factually and in sequence, what had happened: the diagnosis, the evaluation, the surgery, the recovery she managed while still on her own, the papers on the table 6 months and 11 days later. She cited the judge's written note. It was public record. She was entitled to do so. The interview was published. It was read. Richard's professional biography no longer describes how he overcame serious illness. I asked Nadia whether, if she could go back, she would make the same decision. She did not answer immediately. She said, "That's the question everyone asks, because they want the answer to be no. Because if the answer is no, if she says she regrets it, then the story has a different moral. He wins something, even in the telling. He becomes someone who took something irreplaceable, which he already is. But if she says she regrets the donation, she hands him the narrative." She paused. She said, "I do not regret the donation. I gave a kidney to someone who needed it. That person is still alive. He has a functional life because of what I chose to do. I cannot regret that. And I will not, because that choice was mine. It came from who I am, and he does not get to take that from me either." She said, "What I regret is that I was wrong about him. That is a different regret entirely, and it is one I am allowed to have. There is a legal doctrine in medical ethics that says a gift once given cannot be conditional in retrospect. You cannot attach terms to an organ after it has been transplanted. The donation is complete the moment it occurs." Richard understood this. He was, after all, a professional who dealt in the fine print of things. What he may not have anticipated, what most people in his position do not anticipate, is that legal invisibility and social invisibility are not the same thing. The kidney cannot be recovered. The timeline cannot be unwritten. The judge's note is public record. The interview is indexed. The professional biography has been edited, but the internet retains what it retains. Nadia has one kidney. She will have one kidney for the rest of her life. She has higher insurance premiums. She has a medical history that will accompany every future health encounter she has. She has the scar. She also has the truth, and she has told it once, clearly, and let it stand. She gave him a part of herself. He cannot take what she decided to do with the rest of it.